There's a truth most men spend their entire lives avoiding. Most men never reach their full potential. Not because they can't, but because they slowly become comfortable living below it. They settle for work that drains them, habits that weaken them, dreams they quietly shrink so they don't feel disappointed. And over time, they stop becoming who they were meant to be. If you look closely, almost every man stuck in mediocrity is repeating the same patterns, quietly, daily, without even realizing the cost. They choose comfort instead of growth, scrolling instead of building, saying maybe later, long enough that later never comes. So here are 7 reasons why most men stay mediocre, until it's too late to change it. And as you hear them, don't just listen. Compare them to your own life. Because if you recognize yourself in these patterns and do nothing about it, then you're not different. You're just next. Because the difference between an average life and a powerful one is rarely talent. It's whether you interrupt the pattern before it becomes your identity. Number 1, they waste their most valuable asset, time. Not in obvious ways, not by doing nothing all day, but by slowly leaking time into things that feel harmless, but lead nowhere. A few minutes scrolling turns into hours. A quick break becomes a wasted evening. A plan gets pushed to tomorrow, again and again. And because nothing immediately breaks, they think it's fine. But that's the illusion. Because time doesn't need to be stolen all at once to destroy your future. It just needs to be taken quietly, consistently, every single day. Until one day, you look back and realize something uncomfortable. You were busy, but you didn't move. You were active, but you didn't build. You were distracted, just enough to avoid facing your real potential. Let that sink in. Most men don't lose their future in a single decision. They lose it in daily fragments of wasted time. And the dangerous part is, it never feels urgent. There's always tomorrow. Always next week, always when I'm ready. But that version of you, the one who finally becomes disciplined, focused, consistent, he keeps getting pushed further away. Not because he's impossible to become, but because you keep delaying the moment you decide to become him. And the longer that delay continues, the more it starts to change something deeper than your schedule. It starts to change how you see yourself. Number 2. The slow burn of self-betrayal. This is where most men don't even realize they've already lost. Because this isn't about failure. It's about something much quieter and much more dangerous. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," and don't. Every time you avoid what you know you should do. Every time you choose comfort over discipline. You're not just delaying success. You're breaking trust with yourself. At first, it feels small, almost meaningless. But repetition turns it into identity. Because after enough broken promises, something shifts. You stop believing your own words. You stop trusting your own plans. You stop seeing yourself as someone who follows through. And once that happens, you don't need failure to hold you back. You hold yourself back. You hesitate. You overthink. You lower your standards quietly. Not because you lack potential, but because deep down, you no longer expect yourself to rise to it. And that's how mediocrity locks in, not through one big mistake, but through a slow accumulation of moments where you chose less and called it later. Number 3, they choose comfort over growth. This is where mediocrity becomes permanent, because comfort doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like relief. You avoid pressure, you avoid risk, you avoid the hard things that demand more from you. And in the moment, it feels justified. I deserve a break. I'll do it later. I just need to reset. But here's the truth. Comfort is not neutral. Every time you choose comfort over effort, you reinforce a pattern of avoiding resistance, a pattern of staying where it's easy. A pattern of becoming someone who doesn't push past limits. And over time, that pattern becomes your default. You stop challenging yourself. You stop taking risks. You stop stepping into situations where you might struggle. Not because you can't handle it, but because you've trained yourself not to. And that's how a man slowly becomes weak without realizing it. Not physically, but mentally. Because strength isn't built when things are easy. It's built when you do what's uncomfortable, consistently. And most men, they build a life designed to avoid that completely. A life where nothing is too hard, but nothing is meaningful either. Let that sink in. You don't become powerful by accident, but you can absolutely become average, just by staying comfortable. But comfort alone isn't enough to trap you, because even a comfortable man could still wake up one day and decide to change. What really locks him in is something even more dangerous, because once this sets in, he doesn't just stay still. He starts drifting. Number 4, they have no clear direction. This is the silent killer. No mission, no target, no clear idea of where they're going. So what happens? They react to life instead of designing it. They take what comes. They follow what's available. They move based on convenience, not intention. And years pass like this. Working jobs they didn't choose. Living lives they didn't design. Surrounded by routines they never questioned. Not because they're incapable, but because they never decided. And if you don't decide your direction, the world will decide it for you, slowly, quietly, without asking. That's why so many men wake up years later feeling stuck, not because they made the wrong choice, but because they never made a choice at all. They drifted into a life, and now they don't know how to get out of it. Because direction isn't something you find by accident. It's something you build through clarity, through intention, through making decisions that most people avoid. And without it, all your effort gets scattered, all your time gets diluted, all your potential stays unused. You can work hard every day and still go nowhere. Because hard work without direction is just movement without progress. Think about that. And this is where it gets even more uncomfortable. Because even if a man becomes aware of all this, even if he knows he's wasting time, avoiding discomfort, drifting without direction, most still won't change. Not because they don't want to, but because of what they fear, and that's where the next layer begins. Number 5. They fear being judged more than being average. This is where most men quietly sabotage themselves. Not because they lack ability, but because they're afraid of being seen trying and failing. Think about it. Starting something new means looking inexperienced. Taking risks means possibly being rejected. Speaking up means possibly being wrong. And for most men, that feels worse than staying average. So they hold back. They don't fully commit. They don't go all in. They don't push to their real limits. Not because they don't want success, but because success requires exposure, and exposure means judgment. So instead, they choose safety. They stay in environments where they're comfortable. They play small enough to avoid criticism. They avoid situations where their weaknesses might be seen. And slowly, they build a life that protects their ego, but destroys their potential. Let that sink in. You're not afraid of failure. You're afraid of being seen failing. And that fear keeps you invisible because you can't grow in hiding. You can't build anything meaningful while protecting your image. At some point, you have to risk looking like a beginner. At some point, you have to risk being misunderstood. At some point, you have to choose growth over approval. But most men never make that choice. And that's why they stay exactly where they are. But even fear alone isn't the strongest force, because a man can still fight fear if he's aware of it. What's harder to escape is something that doesn't feel like a problem at all, something that feels normal, something that surrounds him every single day, and slowly shapes who he becomes without him realizing it. Number 6. They surround themselves with mediocrity. This one is dangerous because it's invisible. Your environment doesn't force you to stay average. It just makes it acceptable. Look around. If the people around you waste time, it feels normal. If they avoid challenges, it feels justified. If they settle, it feels reasonable. No one calls you out. No one pushes you. No one expects more from you. So you don't expect more from yourself. And over time, your standards adjust, not upward, but downward. You stop seeing discipline as necessary. You stop seeing effort as important. You stop seeing growth as urgent, because no one around you is doing it either. And that's how mediocrity spreads, not through failure, but through normalization. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your environment. Think about that. And now we reach the final layer, because even if a man becomes aware of all of this, even if he sees the patterns, the fear, the environment, there's still one last reason he stays stuck. One final decision he avoids making, and this one changes everything. Finally, here's the reason number 7. They avoid responsibility, so nothing ever changes. This is the final reason, and it's the one most people will resist the most, because it's easier to blame. Blame the system, blame the economy, blame your past, blame other people. And to be fair, some of those things matter. They can make life harder, they can slow you down. But here's the truth most men don't want to accept. As long as your life is someone else's fault, it's also someone else's responsibility to fix it. And that means you stay stuck, because blame feels powerful in the moment, but it removes control. Responsibility does the opposite. It's heavy, it's uncomfortable, but it puts your life back in your hands. No excuses, no waiting, no one coming to save you. Just you and what you choose to do next. Let that sink in. Most men don't stay mediocre because they're incapable. They stay mediocre because they never fully decide. This is on me. Not partially. Not when it's convenient. Fully. And until that moment happens, nothing changes. Because at the end of the day, your life is not shaped by what you know. It's shaped by what you tolerate, what you allow, what you repeat, what you refuse to confront. And if you keep tolerating the same patterns, you will keep getting the same life. Not worse, not better, just the same. So now, let me tell you how to actually break out of this. Not theoretically, not someday, but starting now. Number 1, cut the invisible leaks in your life. Your problem isn't lack of time, it's where your time is going. You don't need a perfect plan yet. You need to stop the bleeding. Reduce the things that quietly drain you. Mindless scrolling, constant distractions, anything that consumes hours but builds nothing. You don't have to eliminate everything. Just become aware enough to interrupt it, because you can't build a powerful life on a foundation that's constantly leaking energy. Number 2, rebuild self-trust through small wins. Right now, the biggest damage isn't your results. It's your relationship with yourself. You've said things you didn't follow through on, so your mind stopped taking you seriously. You fix that the same way it was broken. Through repetition. Start small, set a simple standard, and keep it. Daily, even when you don't feel like it. Because every time you follow through, you rebuild something most men never recover. Self-trust. And once you trust yourself again, everything changes. Number 3, choose discomfort on purpose. Stop waiting for life to force you to grow. Choose it. Do things that challenge you, things that feel inconvenient, things that stretch your limits. Not once, but consistently. Because discipline isn't something you find, it's something you practice. And the more you lean into discomfort, the less control it has over you. Until one day, what used to feel hard becomes your new normal. Number 4, define a direction. Even if it's imperfect, you don't need the perfect life plan. You need a direction, something to aim at, because without direction, all your effort scatters. Pick something, Build a skill. Start something small. Move towards something that matters to you. You can adjust later, but you can't improve a life that's standing still. Clarity doesn't come before action, it comes from it. Number 5. Change your environment, or it will change you. This one is non-negotiable. If you stay in the same environment, you will stay the same person. Limit exposure to people and habits that normalize mediocrity, and increase exposure to anything that pushes you higher. It doesn't have to be perfect. Even small shifts matter, because over time, your environment becomes your standard. Number 6. Take full responsibility without excuses. This is where everything locks in. No more blaming, no more waiting, no more hoping things change. You take control, fully, even if it's unfair, even if it's difficult, because once you accept responsibility, you also take back power. And power is what most men are missing. Not potential, not opportunity, just ownership. And if you do all this consistently, something starts to happen. You stop drifting, you stop hesitating, you stop seeing yourself as average, and slowly, you become the man you kept postponing, not in one big moment, but through daily decisions that most people avoid. But understand this. This path is not easy, it's uncomfortable, it's repetitive, it requires patience, and most men won't do it. That's why most men stay where they are. So the question is, are you going to hear this, feel motivated for a moment, and go back to the same patterns? Or are you actually going to change something? Because if you don't, nothing changes. And if this message spoke to you, if you see yourself in this, then don't let this be another video you forget. Subscribe, not for motivation, but as a reminder of the standard you're choosing to live by. Because the moment you stop exposing yourself to truth like this, is the moment you slowly fall back into the same patterns. And you already know where that leads.